if you want to fix it, you can't think your way to a solution. And this is important. And this is about business, this is about life in general. Because your mind has already been programmed to think in a certain way. And this goes slowly, subtle. It happens every single second, minute of your day, of your life. You have come to a point where your mindset is set. If, and there is an if, because if you're very aware and you know that if you want to have a successful life, no matter what that means to you, if that's work, a lot of money, husband, wife, interesting work, whatever, it doesn't matter. You need to understand your mind. And I keep going on about this, but it's so vitally, vitally important for you. And we haven't learned, we were never taught in school, we were never taught by our parents, by nobody in our past, how to observe and be aware of the way we think. And the way we think will lead to emotions and will lead to a pattern of who we are. We base our identity on our thoughts or our belief system, our mind. But then, if you think, or if you look at it from a bird's perspective, not A, B, but from C up here, you see how much of yourself is actually based on somebody else's information. So for you to solve a topic, an obstacle, to find a solution to any kind of problem or topic, either it be privately or it being in business, you have to know who you are and what your triggers are. Take, for example, let's take a partnership. You are being triggered. Okay, you react to something. It might not be the wording in what that person says. It could be the facial expression. It could be tone of voice. It could be a combination. But you have to figure out what it is that actually triggers you and why. Because it's somebody else's information, so it doesn't really apply to you, does it? So you have to figure out why, and that you find in your past. Definitely not now, because there's a lack of something in your past, not done wrongly by somebody else, but just a lack. And that makes you react. Go in defense, react, become childish, doesn't matter. Because when you react to a trigger, you're not usually your age. You are the age when the trigger happened or when you got the information. That means maybe 2-year-old, 5-year-old, 7, 10, doesn't matter. But you understand it. When you look back at the argument, you see, oh my goodness, that's embarrassing. All those words and hitting underneath the belt, and this is not me. Who is this person saying all these rude and obnoxious things? That's because you react from that specific trigger at that certain age. So if we don't go back and we don't change the way our mind works, which now is based on information that takes us downhill, because it becomes more and more narrow. The more we water something, the more we feed something, the more it grows, right? So that means that the more fear or the more worry or the more you base it on somebody else's information, the less you have your own information. And your own information is based on creativity, because that means everything you have inside here, absolutely everything. So that's based on creativity, and it's endless. It's based on imagination. It's based on curiosity. But that information that you got in the behind or in the past is a limiting belief system. It's based on fear. Behave because I want to be seen as a good parent, for example, or teacher. Do this. No, you can't. All these things has left a stain on who you're actually born to be. That doesn't mean that it's not supposed to be rules or boundaries when you're a child, but it's how it's done or how it's gone about. That is the topic. And you need it, but because you need to learn. You need to figure out what is you and how, but we didn't get that manual. So that means that you have not questioned or dug into those topics to figure out what is your voice, what is your mindset. So you need to detox like you do with everything else. You need to detox the past to let go of the old information on that chip and recalibrate, relearn, re-figure out, whatever, so you can find your natural voice. And if that's a mixture of your past, that's fine. If it's a mixture of whatever, it doesn't matter as long as you know that it's yours, because that information is endless. You don't get burned out. You don't stop creativity. You don't stop by obstacles or difficulties. You actually thrive on them. You can find a solution. This is like food for you. Now my brain can work at its best instead of working from fear, which is somebody else's information. So, it's so important that we do the detox of the mind. We have to figure out who we are and what we stand for. And especially, it's like, let's say it's been 30 years, it's been 40, 50 years, doesn't really matter. Still, it's worked until now, but suddenly it doesn't work anymore. It's like, having skis on and there is no snow, there's sand, it doesn't go forward. It's like, oh, something is wrong here. I just don't know what, and I have to figure it out. So that is the essence. So no matter what age, but when you feel that is this, oh, this is not right, this is not resonating with me anymore, then it's time to do a talk with yourself. Observe yourself, be aware of what you do, your patterns, the way you talk, the way you react, everything, good or bad, doesn't matter. It's the same thing, it's in the same pot. We need them all, but you have to have that conversation with yourself for you to move forward. That means that it will be easy to be energetic, creative in business. Think outside the box. You don't have to follow anybody. There's no unwritten manual here that you have to go by. You don't feel imprisoned in, old, stale thoughts. You can actually create completely new ones. And it doesn't matter what people might think about it, because you can always test it out and see if it works or not. But before, you might have held back and said that, it's a lot of money, I shouldn't do it, I'll just keep here, steady here where I am, and let's, be safe. But safe doesn't take you anywhere. And the way the world is moving forward now, with that speed and the technology and everything that goes on, we need to step up our game, all of us. If we don't figure out who we are, like any kind of brand, we don't know how to sell ourselves, metaphorically speaking. But you have to know it. If you want a partner, you have to know how to sell yourself. If you want a job, you have to know the produce, right? If you want a different kind of life, you have to know what your passion, your vision, your dream is to move along those lines. But if you don't know what your passion is, or you don't know what makes you thrive, then how can you even look for it? So mindset is so much more important than we think, and we can't not afford to accept it as it is, and accept that it is our identity and that's who we are. Because if we even utter those words, we have already lost. And this is 100% sure. The more you go in that frame of mind, the more narrow it will become, and the more computerized and the more crutches you need, And yeah, you're doomed for a long, long prison time. And I'm sure you don't want that. I am sure you want to thrive. Sorry, I'm sure you want to stand on that stage. I'm sure you want to be creative. I'm sure you want to be admired, valued, whatever it is that you need. But you have to make a choice to detox and reprogram your mind. And the only one that can do it is you. The only one. So solutions to any kind of topic in your life can only be solved if you reprogram yourself. Otherwise, you will just make the same pattern, the same information, the same whatever to move yourself forwards in baby steps, but it doesn't take you into the future. That's